What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kick a Touchdown Sports. I'm Joe White. Joining me today, Devin.
What's going on?
We're talking Cam Newton, gone. Mac Jones, he's the starter. We're also going to be talking about Michael Thomas on the PUP list. What does that mean? We're going to be drafting him? J.K. Dobbins.
Is he coming back? Is he coming back?
Do you even care if he's coming back? I really don't care. J.K. Dobbins out for season. What's up with Gus Edwards? We're going to go in a little bit more about that. First off, like we talked about, Cam Newton cut. Thank God.
I was in the middle of work and I got the notification.
Did you smile?
I felt indifferent. I mean, I felt like it was coming. But he posted the Instagram QB1.
I did.
Everything Bill's saying, like, if this was your plan, why to make Mac the starter week 1? Why is Cam Newton getting first team reps every single practice up until a point?
It's a complete waste.
Like, so now you have Mac Jones playing with the twos, like, every practice.
Yeah.
And, like, now, like you said, he's a rookie quarterback. During COVID, the camps are shorter. There's less time. So you're using those reps on someone you just bounce. Like,
You just released him. You paid him money.
at least keep him around all that time.
But could you have kept him longer, though, you think? Do you think Cam Newton would have been like an asset as the backup?
It's tough. I mean, as a player, yes, because what he could bring as far as, like, I'm not the Taysom Hill shit, but I'm saying you're inside the 10, I feel like Cam has a better chance over Mac, at least today. Like, we'll see as the season
Devin, if that's the case, if you're at the 10-yard line, right, and you got Mac Jones at center, I'd rather him just hand the ball to Damian Harris.
That's fairly efficient.
Right, yeah. Like, I'd rather see Damian Harris, who, like, knows how to run between the tackles, and bring in Cam Newton, who may not hit the right hole. And then it's like, Cam Newton, again, you did this to me again. I'm so happy Cam's gone.
Like I said, it was a good thing. I mean, we drafted Mac in the first round. You got to play the dude. It's not like, oh, we got him in the third, so we'll break him in.
Develop him a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he'll play next year. Like, you stood at 15. You took your guy.
I think begrudgingly too. I don't think Belichick wanted to take back.
On record, all my friends, I wanted Fields so bad. I was counting down the picks. I was like, oh, he made it past Denver. There's good.
No one else.
We're good. And then top rope. God. Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, scoop up Justin Fields, and then
I was bummed out. That's really the only.
I cracked another beer. Yeah. I was like, oh, we're getting Mac Jones because there was no QB destinations after that.
No, we were the last ones. There was talk about the Saints maybe moving up and maybe wanting to get Mac Jones too at the time. I don't know. There's all these rumors you hear after the draft. But the reason why I like Mac Jones so much instead of Cam Newton is that when I'm drafting my team, I'm looking at Jacoby Myers, I'm looking at Hunter Henry, I'm looking at what's the other tight end's name? Johnny Smith. Like, their value as with Cam Newton being the quarterback, there's no targets coming your way.
I think for the tight ends, at the least, as a fantasy insight, well, just football in general, Cam was doing his best in Carolina. He had Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
He likes the bigger targets, like Calvin Benjamin. He had Devin Funchess before he fell off the map.
You remember Devin Funchess? He had a good year.
He did. One good year.
It was like 100 catches one year. It was like wild. But the Cam Newton this year.
You see the archetype of player that he prefers.
Yeah.
So at least that aspect.
But I have no faith that he would even hit the tight ends.
That's another. It comes down to execution as well. There's comfort, execution.
You watch him throw off his back foot into the ground in front of Jonnu Smith's feet. You just you know what I mean?
The worm burners.
It's just terrible, the worm burners. So I think it's phenomenal for every single player on the Patriots. For the whole Patriots organization, it's huge that Cam Newton's gone. You had to rip the Band-Aid off eventually.
I mean, before our fantasy draft, I would have probably took a longer look at Patriots wideouts.
Yeah, I would have too.
Opposed to where we are now.
I took Jonnu Smith in one league, and I was thinking to myself, I'm going to take him, hoping in the future that Cam Newton's not throwing him the ball. You know what I mean? It really was the only choice.
It's a long-term play.
Yeah, I mean, I was a deep league. It was 14 teams. It was a lot going on. No, it was a 12 team. Either way. So I think that, but where do you pick Mac Jones? Mac Jones isn't a fantasy value right now as a quarterback. If it's a 2 QB league.
I would roster him. Well, 2 QBs is mandatory.
Yeah, that's different.
One, like standard, I would roster him just because of the intrigue.
Yeah. You never know. He could come out like the world on fire, right?
I mean, he came out, he did it in Alabama. Granted, it's Alabama.
I mean, they have so many weapons. You
got 5-star line, 5-star receivers.
Defense is unreal. You're getting the ball back every time.
You got 5 stars on the bench.
For real. It's crazy. Unbelievable. So, waiting about Jacoby Myers now. Jacoby Myers, before, he was my deep sleeper with some of the previous episodes. I think now, even after minicamp, seeing what's going on after preseason, Jacoby Myers is head and shoulders above every other receiver on our team. Like, would you take Nelson Aguilar or Kendrick Bourne over Jacoby Myers?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by Bourne because he's had games in San Fran where it's like, oh, Kendrick Bourne is $150 and 3 tuds. It's like, what the hell? I mean, it's never consistent.
Never.
So that's what worries me. Aguilar, the one good year, or I guess 2 good years. He had 1 Philly year.
Oh, yeah.
Trash. 1 like good Oakland year, or he might have had a bad year.
I think he had a couple bad years in between there.
Right. I gave him more benefit.
Yeah. His career's bookended with decent.
But he just went off last year. So are we at the other end of the roller coaster?
He just got paid a bunch of money.
Up. So I agree with you with Myers. I mean, he's been here. He knows what's up. He's probably developed some connection with Jones. I mean, he's been playing with Cam, so you never know.
Yeah.
Whole situation was botched.
I think Jacoby Myers is going to be a phenomenal addition this year, fantasy wise. Yeah. Like if you're looking at if it's PPR, I imagine Jacoby Myers gets at least 7 targets a game, right? That seems like reasonable.
If he's our X receiver, the true number 1, then that's a pretty good number to be at. Yeah. My thing I'm worried about, this is a tangent, with the Patriots offense, we don't have, like you mentioned Jacoby Myers, he's like a 4.5, 4.6 almost speed receiver, like in a 40. Bourne is like probably the fastest of our group, but he's not like by any means like a Curtis Samuel. I'm not even gonna say Tyreek Hill. But...
Oh yeah.
And then Aguilar, he's I guess a deep threat. He gets 20+ yard receptions often, but he's like if there's any speed in the secondary on the opposing team, then I think everything's gonna be kept in front. That's my immediate concern. Yeah, and we'll see how things play out.
And you hope if that's the case, then the tight ends will shine.
Exactly.
Right, because then it's just you're forcing it in the middle like that.
I would have killed for Deshaun Jackson over one of the receivers we signed. He's played like 2 games in 2 years, but
I still take him.
Just the chance. I know we'd see the back of his jersey at least.
You need the home run threat, even if you can't get the ball down the field. At least the threat's there, right? And we don't have that right now.
Because then it opens up all underneath, and then. Him just being on the field, he could run the ball and stuff.
I'd rather Randy Moss come out of retirement right now. Just knowing that Randy could. We all know Randy still could. He could. Randy Moss could.
I mean, put him at the goal line. I'm sure he'll get a fade on anybody.
I think Randy could. I think he could outrun like half of the NFL right now still.
Running? Does he have a NFL countdown 40?
NFL countdown 40?
I know like Rich Eisen did. That's notorious, but...
for sure they should do that.
Someone was talking. Some former player did it again. But.
Really, T.O. did. T.O. just did a recent thing. T.O. says he could still play in the league. I believe him. Who doesn't believe T.O.?
He did it long. He was 3 years ago.
But he finally retired. I think it was with the Seahawks. He finally got cut or something.
And he made some highlights.
I mean, I would rather so many retired, washed up NFL wide receivers than who the Patriots have
over
right now.
Nelly.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, so we're going to move on from the Patriots, even though I talk about them all day. The next question is Gus Edwards.
Gus the Bus.
Gus the Bus. J.K. Dobbins over season. You got Gus Edwards. Do you think he could be a 1,000-yard rusher, 9 to 10 touchdown running back in Baltimore's offense?
Well, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I believe he had 7 pretty close to that, given Dobbins was there splitting time, and they had Ingram still last season. Mm-hmm. So he really runs in the 20s range, on first and second down. Just the offense in general with Lamar opens up the lanes for the running back. So ideally, his stock's going up.
It has to be.
You go ahead.
No, it has to be because you got J.K. Dobbins is gone. Right, I know before Gus Edwards, he was being drafted in the Zach Moss area, right? You know, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Gus Edwards. We like potentially this could work out. You know, a couple injuries, it didn't happen, and now Gus Edwards is flying into the second to third round being picked, and it's a lot.
I get worried just off of like talent sake. I'm like, am I gonna say Gus Edwards?
Like, is he really a number one back?
My third player.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't do it in the drafts I've done so far. But given that offense, they're always scoring, and with the defense, they play a controlling type style. Like, I mean, it's obvious with Harbaugh and them. So he should be the main benefactor. I don't know if you've got the update on their new number 2 back.
No, who is it?
It's like Jason something. You might have to look him
He's
up.
like, was he a fucking nobody? Is that what's going on?
We won't even cut this out. But.
No, this is staying in. Ravens.
I got a Bleacher Report and a sleeper update that they got a new number 2 back. And the only thing that worries me, like, if he's good or not, they usually don't stick to one.
Tyson Williams?
Tyson.
Could be pronouncing that wrong. It's either Tyson or... No, how else can you pronounce that right? It's Tyson Williams.
Right.
Who the fuck is that?
See, they got people popping up in camp. We don't even know.
No, we don't know.
That's my concern is, like Patriots in the back in recent days, even back then, it's like, oh, Brandon Bolden had 2 touchdowns today.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be Tyson Williams taking those tuds or breaking off a long run and then now he's taking snaps? Like,
if you're drafted and it's a second or third round, I'm not taking Gus Edwards. Like, if you put yourself in a precarious situation where you have no running backs, that's on you. You should have drafted a little bit better in the first few rounds.
If it's round past 2 and you ain't have a back, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, there's other ones out there. Like, I'd rather have, honestly, I'd rather have like Javonte Williams, Myles Gaskin.
Like, you see people going 0 RB, and it's like
that's wild.
It's like 0 RB through 5 rounds, and it's like, oh, Melvin Gordon's my 1.
Yeah, terrible.
Get out of here.
Oh my god.
I don't want to be in that boat.
You end up with Mark Ingram as your starting running back.
David Johnson, Melvin Gordon.
You never know. It's crazy. If you go 0 RB, I don't know what you're thinking. It's probably not going to work out. So you need running back depth this year, okay? Because when they get hurt, there's none left. So you need to get running backs early in the draft. So if you're just skipping out on that altogether, that's wild.
I mean, in the third, I don't have the ADPs, but there's guys in the third, like Josh Jacobs has fallen to the third.
Yeah.
I'm not spectacular feeling about his upside with just Oakland. They could win like 5 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Las Vegas could win like
I was thinking that too.
They could win like 5 to 7 games, and that wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. Their defense is trash.
Terrible.
They didn't do one thing to improve it, I don't believe, of significance.
I don't think they did anything
They
at all.
added Kenyan Drake.
Which is... Why?
Like, you spent the first round resource on a running back, and let's double down by spending a second contract on another running back.
Makes no sense.
You don't have no corners. You don't have no pass rush. And, there's no linebacker. Could you tell me the starting linebacker?
Nobody can. Not even their own linebackers can tell you who's on their team.
Let's get Kenyan Drake for $6 million per.
Maybe he'll play defense.
Like, who was running this? I mean, obviously John Gruden, but this is just a tangent. This is what you're dealing with in the third round.
Yeah.
Or later.
Because I don't even want Kenyan Drake, and just to finish off on the Vegas thing, is that if you're gonna go Kenyan Drake and Josh Jacobs as your like primary weapons on offense, right? Because that's basically it. I mean
Darren Waller's doing his thing.
Darren Waller's
in the
doing his thing.
receiving game.
Yeah, but like you're focusing on run. Like, why would you have both of those running backs unless you're going committed on the run? You know what I mean?
This isn't Kyle Shanahan.
No.
Or this isn't Pete Carroll, or like McVay can run the ball despite doing all the passing theatrics.
100%.
This isn't a theoretical or chess player in John Gruden. This is the TV guy that hasn't, before these 3 years, hasn't coached in 20.
Yeah. And just so you know, when he picked over the Buccaneers team, that was Tony Dungy's team. Tony Dungy built that.
Put it together, the whole thing. That was his team. Then he got fired. Sapp, Barber, and them, they weren't rookies.
Everything. It's crazy. He gets no credit for it, which is very... Okay, so let's move on from J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards, you're overrated. Stay off my team. Okay, there was a trade today. Chris Herndon traded from the Jets to the Vikings because Irv Smith Jr., breakout candidate of the year. If you drafted early and you got... people fucked up,
Yeah, that's why we don't do drafts until the last preseason. After that.
That's it. You're stupid.
But... You said Irv Smith breakout candidate.
He was supposed to be.
It's Chris Herndon's time, man.
Oh my God!
I've been like 2 years on the Jets. It could be the Jets. That's usually 80% of why shit runs in the water over there.
Yeah.
But I'm like Herndon. I get him late drafts, last couple leagues. I'm like,
it's a flyer.
It's a tight end. There's 3 or 4 of them. I'm like Chris Herndon. They have no targets. Like
nothing.
Like he showed talent coming out. Combine type shit. I'm like, this is the year. He either gets hurt or they don't throw him the ball.
I think it's the Jets. I do.
And it's the Jets.
I think the Vikings
Sam
can do
Darnold
it.
and whoever they had the QB before. I think Herndon's like a year prior to Donald.
Yeah. No, didn't he come the same draft as Donald, I thought?
You might be right.
Yeah, because I remember them popping up at the exact same time. Because he's done nothing. I've had Herndon on my dynasty leagues. I picked him up, like you said, in redraft leagues. Like, here we go. Off the waiver wire, I'm going to stream Herndon this week.
Like the right offensive coordinator, the right quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, this is my man. It's never come together. He'd either been hurt or, like we said, other stuff.
He's burned me too many times. But I think I would still get him this year.
Right. If this isn't the year, then I'm done altogether.
Don't call me Herndon.
But you're going to Minnesota. They had Irv Smith and Kyle Rudolph, which any given game, one of them's going to score.
Well, Kyle Rudolph's gone now.
He's gone?
Yeah.
Which is what I'm alluding to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Irv Smith's temporarily gone, at least half the season, it appears, or more.
They said several weeks to several months. Very vague. Very vague.
And then it's usually the latter. They're like, oh, he'll come back 2 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to feel good until week 6.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to take those with a grain of salt.
So do you want him on your team this year?
I do.
I do too.
You got to find the value. Like, obviously, I don't like to draft tight end. If it's not the elite, I'm usually getting them deep. 10, 11, 12, something like that. That range, I'm comfortable. Do it up.
It's funny how Herndon's value just, in my mind, has skyrocketed because he was probably going undrafted and now he's going drafted, right?
Yeah.
Solely based off of the fact that the Vikings have Kirk Cousins, you got Dalvin Cook, you got, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Like, there's weapons over there. You're going to be open. You catch the ball.
Yeah. Like, by process of elimination.
Yeah.
You're going to have the opportunities. And they throw it to the other tight ends they had.
Mm-hmm.
So the touchdowns would be, like, you don't want to rely on that. But
could you imagine?
I'm sure they'll be abundant.
I'll be so happy for him. You deserve it, Chris Herndon. You've got a lot. Anyone that goes to the Jets,
we'll put a jersey, kick a touchdown, we'll pull a jersey up, put it right here.
Imagine that. You might win you your fantasy. You never know. Herndon could be one of these. I have no facts to base this off of, but he could win you your league. You know what I mean? I hope so. I really do.
Oh, shit.
You never know. He could end up just like being a touchdown monster. Basing that on 0 facts and 0 evidence, he could win you.
Just good highlight tape and belief. We've been in this man's corner.
Belief, 100%.
On a tangent from that, like my theory usually is, I don't like to draft players on shitty teams. Not every player is shitty on shitty teams. Obviously, you take quarterbacks, you take receivers, but I'm gonna take a power running back, or I'm gonna take. That's why I was scared of Zeke. I got him last year, and the team fell apart.
100%.
And, he catches the ball, but he's not like Ohio State.
Dude, he was catching the ball for -1 yards. He had a lot of those catches. It's crazy.
At the line of scrimmage or behind it.
The team was so bad, they just gave up. He had 10 catches for 3 yards. Like, how? How did that happen?
And then tight ends, too, I'd probably stay away from most cases, unless it's Darren Waller on Vegas. Mm-hmm. But Herndon's not on a shitty team anymore, at least on paper. So I would go for it. So
there's the Kelsey, the Waller, the Kittle, the Kyle Pitts, and then it drops down, and then even Gronkowski's invaluable there, and there's Logan Thomas, and so that's I'm trying to think of any other ones, but that's basically
there's five you're comfortable with, 3 you're like, let's go.
Set with, and there's a huge drop off, but I think Herndon has risen to the top of that.
He could pop up in there, I don't know, I don't have it in front of me, but it could be Hunter Henry type range.
Yeah.
Or I don't know who Henry or Smith's gonna emerge primarily.
But there's both. But like you said, there's potential, right? And that's
up for grabs.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. So why not throw a late dart in your draft?
Who would you want, Herndon or Hunter Henry right now if you had a draft?
Isn't Hunter Henry hurt?
Isn't he always hurt though? But he's got potential.
The potential. Chris Herndon got potential.
He's got the potential.
That's how we're here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would take Henry off. Just he's done it.
I think I would take Herndon over Henry right now, just because of the John New thing and this and that. It's kind of like, but I think that's where you rank him at though. Henry and Herndon should be right there. That should be
pretty close.
Pretty close. And after that, there's literally nothing after that. So like, if you fuck up past that with your 0 RBR strategy.
Yeah, you're gonna end up with like, I got like Mike Gesicki recently, and I'm not ecstatic by it.
But it's not the worst thing in the world.
I'm like, maybe this will work.
Yeah, let's fingers crossed.
If you don't have top 5, you're throwing darts in general. So
that's why I took Kelsey in the first round in one of my leagues with your league.
Smart man.
I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just get it.
Yeah, like I don't have to worry about that lineup spot unless it's a bye week.
He's as valuable as a quarterback. It's weird.
You get the elites at the positions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not getting Mahomes, maybe Josh Allen is approaching, but Mahomes is on his own tier. Like, if you're not getting him, my theory is like 2 to 5 is way too close, opposed to like there's a way bigger gap to 1.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, last season Josh Allen was 1. So
yeah, but I feel like that might. I have no faith. I have zero faith in Josh Allen until last year. I'm like, all right, you proved me wrong.
I have faith, but can it be repeated to that? He's grown up in the 3 years so far, and then you just put together a near MVP season this last one. So I'm like, can he go above that?
I don't think he can.
That sounds ghastly to think.
Yeah.
Like that's part, or like
if he gets better than last year, he won't be as good.
Then he's on that tier.
Yeah, you're there.
We know what our eyes see, but like if he goes up another notch, then he's on that tier.
I hope he doesn't. I really do. I hope the Bills implode and they go back to irrelevance.
For the sake of the AFC East.
Yeah, we're Patriots fans. We want nothing but the worst for the AFC East. Always. So, speaking of uncertainties, we got Saquon Barkley. He's his status is unknown going into week 1. No one knows what's going on with Saquon Barkley. In the couple of drafts I've been in, he's plummeted down to like 9, 10, 11. And I thought before, when I was speaking before this, I was like, oh, I'd grab Saquon there, no problem. Value, you know what I mean? But the more I think about it and the more he doesn't play and no one knows the uncertainty, it's like, I wouldn't want him anywhere in my team. He might not miss a bunch of games, but who knows? Like, you don't want your first round pick to be someone who doesn't even see the field. That was me with Michael Thomas last year.
Yeah.
Not doing that again.
No, I've seen it on I can't even talk. Other episodes I've said, when you burn a bridge with me in fantasy, then like it kind of is what it is. Like forever. Matt Ryan's gone.
Forever.
Like Kelvin Benjamin gone. Obviously,
that was your own fault, though. That was your own fault.
One good year, man. It's what it takes around here.
Fucking Kelvin Benjamin. God damn it.
But last season, I drafted Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall. I'm like, shit, I'm good. I'm like,
all year, set.
I'm like, I had number 2 pick. I'm like, he could be better than McCaffrey. Obviously, he gets injured like week 2 or 3, and then $50 gone.
Forever.
So he burnt me a little bit. And he's still, it's a ACL, it's modern technology. He'll be great. It's just how great and like.
And when?
You have a crap offensive line. I don't believe in the quarterback. I think just Dave Gettleman, the GM, does. Not even the team. It looks like
it's crazy. Nobody was in Danny Jones anymore.
Bad O-line, if I'm reiterating, but drafted Andrew Thomas, left tackle. They took the first tackle off the board, and he's the worst of at least the first round. Like,
is he really?
They had Wirfs went to Cleveland.
I have no idea. I don't follow any.
Jedrick Wills went to Tampa. Wills is like an all-pro.
Really?
And Wirfs is doing his thing. They had we're talking about tackles here.
We're talking tackles. Forget this ever happened.
There's 4 or 5 of them that go in the first round, and they got the worst one from all reports, and just you can see it on the field. Their quarterback's got grass on the jersey.
Oh yeah. So
that's why even Saquon, he played a week and a half, whatever. He was getting like 2.5 yards per tote.
It wasn't looking good.
You could be nasty as you are, but if you're getting met at the line of scrimmage, you gotta do 3 moves just to gain 3 yards.
Yeah.
And like,
That's not helping anybody.
No, I don't want to be sweating on Sundays.
Devin, I got a theory, right? This is my Saquon gate, all right? So the Giants, they probably know their team sucks, right? Even if you make it to the playoffs for the NFC East, you're gonna.
If I'm in that building, then my head's down probably.
Yeah, you're not feeling good about the Giants, right? So the Giants just paid Saquon a ton of money. Was it last year or the season before that? He's got a huge contract.
Did he get?
Yeah, he got paid.
Okay.
He got paid. So you know your team's that bad, and you know your biggest investment is coming off of a serious knee injury. You're not gonna rush him back, right?
No.
Maybe in their mind they're thinking we just kind of like play this along, and maybe Saquon is just like a scratch for half the year, if not the entire. Who knows? Like, would you want to put him out there for a losing? Like, it just makes no sense to me. If you're the ownership and you're like a general manager and you're trying to build for the future, why would you want? That's why it was kind of stupid for them to re-sign Saquon, because their team is so bad. You don't want to re-sign a running back that's gonna get burnt out.
Yeah, by the time they're like 2 years from being 2 years away.
Yeah, facts.
That's 4 years from now. Saquon will be what, 26, 27?
His clock is about ran up. Plus, you got the injury.
With the injury, accelerates the clock.
Totally.
So the timeline, like, even them in the moment taking him at 2, like, it's hard to argue looking at the tape. And
no, he's a stud.
Obviously, like,
Coming
he's a stud.
He's a fucking monster.
But your team, you're picking number 2, and you're taking a running back.
Yeah.
Like, you take your first round running back if you're the Steelers.
Yeah.
They're like, Connor bounced. We're not confident with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have skill positions everywhere. We just need a running back, and we're good. The line will get there.
And the line's solid enough. Like, the Giants' line has never been good. It's been terrible since
They've been plugging free agents, trading, drafts, and they either people walk or obviously shit don't work out. Like the Nate Soldier thing, he's still there, and he dropped off as soon as he left.
Yeah,
like,
he sucks now.
So they're banking on whims and hopes.
So this is my theory, Devin, is that even if Saquon does see the field, he'll only see the field for a small amount of time, and they're gonna deactivate him immediately. Like, he's on a short rope this year if he does see the field.
Yeah, I tend to lean your way. Like, I don't have inside info, but I'm willing to bet he doesn't get Derrick Henry workload or anything. Maybe half. Like, the team's not going to go nowhere, at least. Like, the Washington football team won the East. Yeah. They don't even have a name.
They don't have a name. They're better than you. They went 7-9. They made the playoffs.
Like, I like Jalen Hurts. I'm not like, oh, he's the future quarterback.
No, but he's good.
But he's doing his thing. Like, are you as good as them? I don't think so. Or you're probably on the same par. Like,
and they have a future by having a quarterback that has a little bit of potential. Danny Jones has no potential.
Like, a year into his deal.
Yeah.
Jones is going to be his 3rd or 4th year.
This is his 4th year, and they're going to probably decline the 5th year option.
So the option's coming up.
Yeah.
Like, he's not cheap anymore. He won't be.
That's why that goes into it. Like, they're not going to re-sign Danny Jones, right? So you have no team, like you're saying. So it's like, what's the point in putting Saquon out there for another year? What's the point? What do you have to gain by it? It's like
they picked 11th, and it's because they had the NFC schedule.
That's it.
That's why they got enough wins to be in the middle.
The only reason. It's crazy.
And this is 3 years after Jones. Like, it's never gotten.
He hasn't gone. His rookie year, he showed hope, flashes. Like, oh, this guy could build on this.
That one Tampa debut game where it was like 4 touchdowns or something like that.
He looked good in that game, and that was the best game he's ever had since.
And it's an opening because there's no tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna zip it here. I'm gonna roll left because they don't know my tendencies. Like, it takes the NFL 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah. And they figured him the fuck out now. I think the only thing I have on this, Michael Thomas, he's on the PUP list. He just had surgery after he neglected to get it during the off season when most people get surgeries if you're an NFL player or All-Pro. I don't think he's taking NFL. I don't think Michael Thomas is taking his career serious at all. At all.
Just the events. It can only go off of what you show me.
Mm-hmm. Lately, too.
Learn that through personal experiences, through NFL, through sports. You can tell me shit, but you gotta show me shit at the end of the day. And then he's, through the years, the last couple of recent, getting in fights in practice, injuring himself on top of like a hamstring or whatever.
Yep.
Because of those incidents, the social media stuff,
the drama, the refusing to get surgery after right after the season.
Right after the season.
Yeah.
Like, you missed most of it. Like, why not take
played
care
the
of
last
your
2
thing?
weeks. So as soon as the season ends, you're supposed to get your surgery immediately. He got it 3 weeks ago. I guess he's progressing well, is what they say, the reports say. Who the fuck cares?
You're going to do it the last month before the season drops?
Yeah, that's what he did.
It don't make sense.
So basically I'm asking that question because Michael Thomas, I'm seeing him being drafted because people have this fantasy in their head that Michael Thomas is going to come back like halfway through the year and be the Michael Thomas of 2 years ago, leading the league in catches, setting records. He was a beast. So do you have any faith that if somebody drafted him late in the rounds, last pick in there, whatever, do you foresee it being a good pick? Will it pay off, you think?
I'm usually not in the early wide receiver business. I mean, if I'm late in the first, so I have that early second, I'll get Tyreek Hill. I'll get Javonte Adams. Michael Thomas 2 years ago, like we've been saying, was the guy if you're going to take one.
Who's as good as a running back?
But it's just, like, I haven't seen it, so like it's hard to do. Like, I'm trying to avoid Zeke because I haven't seen it in like 2 seasons.
Well, so Michael Thomas is being drafted in like the 9th and 10th round. Do you take a flyer?
In that position, I think just off the talent, you have to. Because who else you get? You're getting like Sterling Shepard and like, I don't know, Detroit receivers.
Like, they cut all of them aside all new ones today too. They suck. Like Brashard Perryman. He was supposed to be the number 1 receiver in the Lions. He got cut today.
I mean, he had a thing with Jameis back in Tampa a couple of years removed.
Who?
Perryman.
Oh, Perryman, yeah.
Like, he obviously didn't work out in Baltimore. But he had like he had a quick little minute in Tampa.
The thing about Jameis Winston, he makes everyone look great. So is he gonna make? He really does. He makes all of his receivers look really good. He makes himself look really bad, but like his receivers get yards.
I think Callaway will benefit if it's Jameis the whole way. I think Callaway benefits more than MT because Drew Brees couldn't throw it 20 yards.
No.
So Slant Boy would eat on opportunities. But if Jameis is looking 25 yards downfield, that's not what he does.
No.
So it's not gonna.
I don't know if I would want to take Michael Thomas. I just having him as a roster spot. If your fantasy league has no injured reserve IR spots, then it's like
you're kind of screwed. Like,
yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
If you have another injury or if you have COVID,
like,
God forbid, like whatever happens.
Dude, there's gonna be some COVID.
You gotta carry this dude for half a season or more, depending on whatever, and then the attitude he's shown, like. If you get a timetable, you better look to the end of it. Just off
and what he's shown. Is he going to be good then on the first week? Let's say he comes back week 9. You're getting like basically rusty ass Michael Thomas week 9. You know what I mean?
So you're getting rusty, and then what if you can't put it past that? Oh, week 7, week 8. Oh, MT has a problem with Winston in practice. Like
phenomenal point.
Will you be surprised at that shit? Because I'm looking forward to it now because I didn't draft him, so it's going to be someone else's issue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to be you heard it on Kick a Touchdown. Don't let it be your issue.
No, don't. Okay, just to talk about
if the value present itself, by all means, but
no.
It's not going to be my issue.
It's probably a bad idea to draft Michael Thomas at all. Put him on your team this year. Just take it from us. Kick a Touchdown Sports. We do not support Michael Thomas on your team this year. Same with Deshaun Watson. Okay.
I'm just waiting for Bill to come back and refute.
Billy can refute all this he wants to get back. All right, it's our show. It's Devin and Joe's show. Okay, we run this shit. Same with Deshaun Watson.
It's 2 standing today.
Deshaun Watson, I don't want you on my team. People are picking him with the last pick in the thing, taking like a flyer, a hopeful pick, this and that. The chances of him seeing the field this year are 0 to none. 0 to none.
Like, can you even IR spot him? Because he's not playing, but it's not.
Healthy
he's not on IR.
He's
so.
not.
If it's my league, I'm not. That don't fly. But
no. I don't want Deshaun Watson because, like you said, there's no spot for him. Okay, a little tidbit for fantasy football owners and players. It's going to be COVID this year, right? Like, you made a great point. You're going to have to roster a lot of people off the waivers.
I drafted like 8 running backs because I'm not playing around with them.
No, not this year. I'm not fucking around.
If I got to pick up Hunter Renfrow off waivers, I'll do it, but you can't find backs.
No.
You're getting maybe Alexander Madison, and like, what is that going to get you? 8 points on a good week?
That's a good point too. I meant to bring up because of Saquon Barkley's inability to stay healthy, and also Barkley Gate, which they're probably not going to play him this year. It's my theory. Is that you got Corey Clement and you also got Devontae Booker, who both of them there might be people to keep your eye on because if Saquon's struggling to see the field, these are two running backs. No one's been this. I've seen Corey Clement a little bit. He runs well. Devontae Booker runs pretty decent. There are people.
I think Clement's more like if it's PPR, he's more like the receiver of the group.
Yeah.
So like,
he does more.
He might even possess value with Barkley here.
That's a great point.
Say like they don't want to overwork him or they're losing to Washington by 21, like in the third, and they're like, okay, Saquon. It's probably going to be Clement just with the passing opportunities.
I agree. Especially with the fact that Daniel Jones can't throw the ball downfield. He's going to get people in his face because his offensive line's terrible. Check down. Did you fucking Corey Clement all the time?
I'm not recommending, I mean, by all means, it's all backup running backs are lottery tickets. I'm not particularly interested in the Giants unless I have Saquon personally, like, just because then it's my insurance. But I don't want to bank on having this dude on my bench all year.
No.
Like, it never happens. So.
Yeah, it's like a lottery too. He said he's just hoping for it to come to cash in. So before we end the show, I want to talk a little fantasy football and some value. And we just did our draft, the fantasy football kick a touchdown draft, 14 teams. It was intense. A lot of people called me afterwards and said how it was the toughest draft they've ever done. You sent a text message.
It was of difficulty.
You had to reach deep into your pockets.
I broke some of my. I mean, I didn't break. I went running back. I got Chubb and Clyde Edwards because I said I don't want running backs on shitty teams, and I got the maybe 1 and 2 or top 4, however you shuffle it.
Yeah.
Those KC and Cleveland
scoring offenses for sure.
So I'm gonna take the workhorse off those teams. I wish I could have got Kareem Hunt too. But.
If you could have handcuffed Kareem Hunt on that too, you would have been that's like the optimum move right there.
Because you could play them both.
Yes.
I just like when you go back and back, I need a receiver, so we couldn't go fully like that.
No, especially because if you handcuff Hunt with Chubb, no matter what, so they both have such great value. But if one of them gets hurt, the other one just skyrockets. Like it's unreal.
I've experienced. I had Hunt, and I won 1 for 3 in my leagues last year. Kareem Hunt was a big part of it. He was RB12. Like, you're still getting an RB1, and he don't even get fully snaps.
No, it's crazy because he's so dynamic. It's unbelievable.
He could take it 40 yards off of a little dump down or a stretch and shakes a tackle.
If Kareem Hunt didn't get that domestic, no, he had that violent thing going on in Kansas City, whatever happened. We don't want to talk about that. But if that never happened, and he was on Kansas City still.
He was winning rings.
Oh, facts. The reason they lost to the Buccaneers is because Kareem Hunt wasn't on the team. You imagine that Kareem Hunt?
Then Clyde get hurt, and then they're like Bell is a healthy scratch or some shit.
They were running like Darwin Williams, who also just got like cut this week, or one of the Williamses they have on the team. One of them got cut. So I ended up doing something crazy. I had the number 11th pick, and I didn't. Every time I did a mock draft, it would always shake out. Like I didn't like the way the players felt to me. I was really strategizing this shit. So at the last second, I figured I'd go. I want the premium tight end. At least just give me one player that I know I can always plug and play. No matter what, I'm going to get those 22 to 25 points every week if it's PPR, which it is. So I went with Travis Kelce. And then I followed up with Najee Harris. And then I went running back. I got Mike Davis. I ended up with Javonte Williams. My receivers I'm most skeptical on. I got Amari Cooper as my number 1 wide receiver. I'm not too proud of that.
Yeah. Then again, you open yourself for trades potentially.
Yeah.
And say Amari Cooper's shown before, like you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
And the talent's there. I mean, and you play on Dallas, the opportunity is there as well.
Yeah.
It's just will those things mesh?
I'm afraid of CD Lamb. That's what I'm afraid of. Is CD Lamb going to take off Cooper?
That's who I ended up going. That was my first receiver off the board.
I'd be way happier if I had CD Lamb.
I think that was my 4th pick. 3rd or 4th round.
That makes sense.
On that bench.
Yep.
But I'm hearing through camp, they're like, this is dude's Jerry Rice.
Who, CD Lamb?
Not literally, but he's
up there.
They have a talented group over there. Obviously.
Michael Gallup's like their 3rd wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's very good.
And Lamb's leading them in targets and receptions and yards in preseason and camp. So
what does Cooper do for you?
I think
not a damn thing.
If Lamb's getting the attention, how these things usually work, like
yes.
Julio always has a Calvin Ridley. Like,
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb, maybe last year it was Cooper had CeeDee Lamb. Maybe it's vice versa. Juju Smith had Antonio Brown.
That's true.
Usually, like, Brandon Ayuk had Deebo Samuel. Like,
They got to play each other to get the strengths when you can't guard them both.
Diggs had Thielen. Like, usually the second if they don't both eat, usually the second one, because the second person is never gonna see Jalen Ramsey. They're never gonna see like Marshawn Lattimore, like Trey White. They're never gonna see the nastiest corner. So that is a positive spin.
Thank you. I needed that.
Amari Cooper.
I did. When I drafted him, I was like, "What am I doing?" Every episode of
You're like pulling the fire alarm.
Yeah.
You're like, can we redraft? Like,
it was terrible. But if everything works out, and I grabbed Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle's going to be a huge...
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's their number one receiver.
If it's Tua all year, that's Tua's dude. Like, there's a reason. They didn't even need to go get wide out. I mean...
well, they both
I wouldn't say
right
need.
Now.
I mean, I wouldn't say not need. They had needed a lot of other shit too.
Yeah. But Devontae Parker
that influenced their decision, obviously.
Well, the fact that they're boys and they got the connection.
Last time dude looked good was Alabama.
Yeah.
So
let's bring
Alabama to Florida. Floribama Shore.
Yo, Floribama. That was a great show. And then I took a flyer. Not a flyer. This is my last sleeper, super sleeper. I became hip to this pick right before my 2 drafts, and it's Mark Ingram. Because if you're looking for RB1 potential, right? If you're looking for some reason people think it's David Johnson and it's Philip Lindsay, and that's where the question ends, the answer ends. But it's honestly, Mark Ingram through all of preseason has become the RB1 down there. And I'm pretty sure there's an offensive coordinator it's either an offensive coordinator or a coach. It comes from Baltimore Ravens, who was, very familiar with Mark Ingram. And so for me, I think Mark Ingram in like the 10th round. Or something like that. That's huge value. If you get up with an RB1 in the 10th round.
Yeah. RB1 off of opportunity's sake. Obviously for Houston, it breaks my theory of shitty teams and running backs.
Well, it's so many shitty teams. You gotta take a couple.
No, exactly. There's situations and instances. I like your theory because David Johnson has been hurt. Obviously, that's documented data.
Yeah, it's
and the needs looked like crap since returning. Philip Lindsay, same. He's on this team because he's hurt.
Yeah.
Like Denver, he's shown talent. Denver would have kept him around.
They got him cheap. Everyone they got him
undrafted. Like they probably could have got him cheap back, but if he was healthy, they let him walk because their trainer knows the most. Like, they're like, is he worth keeping around?
Yeah.
And they clearly crunch the numbers. So, off opportunity's sake, they're not going to score 0 points all year either.
No, they got Tyrod Taylor, who's going to move the ball down the field. Like, their team is... I'm rooting for the Texans all of a sudden, right? Because their team is just so... It should be so bad. But I love Tyrod Taylor. Who doesn't love Tyrod Taylor?
My first experience with Tyrod Taylor is, I think it was Madden 25 demo.
Okay.
I hated Joe Flacco, so I always put Tyrod in.
Yo, he can move.
He was a rookie on the thing. It's not a brother thing. I
like
mobile quarterbacks.
You like Danny Jones? He's mobile.
Listen, Joe Flacco's a statue. So if you give me 88 speed in Madden, I'm shoot
all day. That's how it always.
There's hope for Mark Ingram.
There's hope. There's hope.
I don't know about the rest of Houston, but
if he ends up being the number 1 running back in the whole league, okay,
that's a leap.
That's a stretch.
That's bold take.
That's my take of the year. You go for Mark Ingram.
Yes.
Pick 101. All right, that's all we got. Fucking thanks for sticking around with us.
Appreciate y'all.
We'll catch you next week. Peace.
And then there was 2.
That's right. Maybe it'll just be us 2. Look at the
We're
camera.
losing the camera. Oh shit.
All right, peace.